Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week we're back in my wife's workroom, I'm afraid. See you in a minute. Now, as I may have alluded to a couple of weeks ago in the previous video, I'm a bit stuck at the moment. I'm in a place where the only thing I'm doing at the moment during the day is working on the workroom. It's slow, probably because I'm not very fast at working anyway, but it means that I've not got the opportunity to do any other sorts of videos. So it's either no video or a video of something that we're doing in the workroom. So sorry to say, that's the case. If you're not really interested in Ikea hacking around, I'm afraid it's something you'll have to move on until we get this sorted. It won't be long now. In real time I'm just about to the point where I'm starting to decorate anyway, so there's probably another video to come out on the final finishings, and then we'll have a look at probably a sweep up at the end of it, just to sort of discuss one or two things that have come up as a result of doing the work on the room, because Ikea fittings and wardrobes and things have changed over the years, and it's probably worth reflecting on that a bit. So today, fairly simple job, not a great deal of detail in anything, you know, exciting in it. But what it does do is show how to reuse the Ikea jointing system to your advantage, so that if you want to make a wardrobe smaller in height, in some cases smaller front to back or width as well, you can just follow that sequence of events and it will give you the idea of how the cam system works. And it does provide a pretty good way of fixing things together. So we'll start and have a look and see what the progress has been up to date. We've got the two main wardrobes in there built and fitted. Now, I was going to put a 250mm space at the end for an ironing board and a set of steps that we keep in the house. I've decided now to make that gap 500mm and get another wardrobe like that and put in there and adapt that to take the ironing board and then leave a bit more storage. So that's as far as we've got with those. There's another unit gone in there, which is a 500 unit. So far I've been able to avoid cutting the units down by more by luck than judgment. We've only had to cut the height down, we haven't had to cut them down front to back. So we finished the fourth carcass now, put that in, and I've just cut the panel to length that we use for the divider. That should slide in there. That's off a 350 unit, so it sets back quite a long way, so you can still get the stuff in and out, and that will then leave us a little bit more space for storage on that side. Again, set back a bit, but it's better than losing the whole of that unit to a 250mm wide unit. So this is the shelf flipped over 180 degrees. Just drawn the line down, that's the compartment I want to keep, which will be the storage area for boxes. Just making sure that that is big enough to take these boxes, which it is. So then there will be, this is the offcut, but there'll be the panel like that will go along there. So I've just got to mark that now. The panel has only got solid timber there and there. So what I'm going to do in the middle there, I'm going to drill about there on each end and put a dowel in, a timber dowel, and then I'll drill another hole corresponding either side about 25-30 mil away, and we'll screw in the Ikea fixings which they use with these little cams that lock things together. I could screw it, I could just dowel it, but I'm working on the assumption that their way of fixing is probably the strongest. Now I've marked the places where there is timber. I've marked the centre line of the partition, and then I've marked in 25 and 50 mil, 25 and 50 mil from either side, and I'm just setting the drill to the sort of depth that it needs to go in so it doesn't come flying out the other side. So let's carefully drill these now. 5 mil. That's it. All we need to do is pop the fixings in, screw those in, and then we can mark off the other pieces. We just need to do the same thing, mark the centre, and then drill in with the holes. These can be deeper, and indeed the ones for the pins on the outer edges have got to be quite a lot deeper because the cam fixing is up there somewhere. We'll measure that in a minute, but I'll just get a start on these anyway. So now all I've got to do is mark where the cams go. So for that we'll run the line round the outside edge, and then we have to work out the length, the distance up that cam engages. Now the key to getting these Ikea fixings, the cams, to work properly when you replicate it is to make sure that you get the dimensions the same. So the first important dimension is from the face of the joint where the hole is drilled through for the peg to go in to the centre of the cam itself, and I'll make that about 34-35 millimeters. So that's the first point you've got to actually get right. You can put the line in when you drill the hole on the end and get that line, and then you mark in 35. Now the next thing to do is to make sure you've got the right sized Forstner bit and you drill it to the right depth. I've got a selection here of various sizes, so we'll have a quick look and see what we've got. Yeah, that one's 18 and that's too big. I think that one's too small, that's a bit sloppy. That's 12. That is a nice tight fit, and that is a 15 mil. So as long as I drill holes with 15 mil, 34-35 mil in, and I get them about 5 mil deeper than the top of the cutting edge down into the timber, it should be okay. It's easy enough to do because if you drill that hole through first You drill through the top. It suddenly goes easy when you hit the hole because there's a lot less material to clear, and then you start to get some resistance again, and at that point basically you just smooth it off and stop. So we'll do those, and that will enable us to put the fittings in, and then you can do up the cam locks and away you go. So with everything fixed, time to try it out and see how we get on. I suspect when I said 35mm it should have been 32 because the Europeans seem to love that as a module. So all the shelf pin holes and hinges and things are all done on 32mm. So it perhaps should have been 35, but we'll see if that works. You can see now that the pin appears in the bottom of that hole, and then we just push that in, and hopefully if we tighten it, then that's it, it pinches it up tight. Same at the back. So effectively we've made the same joint that Ikea make, and that will be probably the strongest one they could get for the money. So all I've got to do now is flip that, rinse and repeat on the bottom, and we then have the partition fitted. So there you have it. Once you've mastered that simple rearrangement of the joints, you can do pretty much what you like with IKEA furniture. You can alter it to any shape you want, do anything you like with it, adapt, reuse, recycle. Well, another one down. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully next week it will be something different if I can find something to film. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks to all the new subscribers who've come on board, and I'll see you next week. Bye.